habits that you need to stay primed for any state. That's helped me personally, and I'm glad to be able to help you with these. Let's get into it. So, we're going to start with the mind. So, one habit to keep your mind primed. This, we've probably all have heard it, right? Reading. What does every person and whatever endeavor that they are in, what do they all have in common? What do they all have in common that they do? They read. So if you want to keep your mind primed, make sure that you're reading. And here's a tip that could help you in this process. Try stacking. Don't force yourself to try and read. Instead, make this a part of your structure. Before I go to sleep, when I wake up, this is part of my structure. When I take naps, if I take naps in the afternoon, it's all intentful. And I structure it that way. So if you're trying to find a way to incorporate reading, instead of like, oh, I gotta make time for this and that, incorporate it into your structure and you'll be able to read a lot more. And again, this is foundational to keeping your mind primed because it will train it to see different things, different perspectives. If your perspective is limited, you will not grow, you will stagnate. You have to be able to experience and understand different perspectives. And there's no greater way than through reading. Experience is a great one as well, but you can do so much more by reading. We don't have enough lifetimes, especially not in this lifetime, to experience all that there is. Reading can help jumpstart this process and keep your mind primed. Okay. Modality number 2. Now, when it comes to keeping your mind primed as well, writing is foundational. This is important for keeping your mind primed. Now, there's something called the reticular activating system, which is a part of the prefrontal cortex. This is like our executive zone. This is where we make decisions, etc. When you write, this solidifies that information. It brings forth. So let's say you're reading, right? You want to coagulate and solidify that information, but if you're not giving it back, then it's not being solidified. That's why you've probably heard it's best to teach others once you get to a certain point. That's what happened with me. I was consuming so much information. Now I'm here with you, being able to share it with you, but I have to teach you in order to keep that progress and that growth going. So I had to teach, I had to express, I had to share, I had to go and give it out. I was taking it in, just taking it all in, right? And then let it out. Now anyone that wasn't meant to be explicit, okay? Just taking it in. But see, sex, if your mind was on that, right? Everything is sex. Everything, connection, up, down, fat, skinny, tall, short, sun, moon, all of it, space, empty, or space and matter, all of it. Sex is not something that is powerful. We'll save that for another time though. So writing, make sure you're writing to coagulate that information and to be activating this part of the brain and helping it to grow, to solidify that information. Modality number 3 for the mind, keeping your mind primed. Now, this one is great. This modality is great. This is, for me, I'm just gonna say puzzles. Now, here's what I mean. Not all puzzles are equal. Me particularly, I used to play a lot of games and etc. But when I had children and I had to really start structuring and prioritizing my time, I had to think, okay, me playing these games, is it really gonna help me? Like, what is it helping me with, right? So I sat down and I said, what can I truly invest into for years to come? Something that I enjoy doing, that's a release for me, but at the same time, the amount that I'm putting in is gonna pay dividends. What can I do? I decided to play chess. I got back into chess. And powerful. Now, the reason why I say it doesn't matter, you don't have to play chess, but chess is a puzzle, right? Now, it activates different parts of the mind as well as the brain. And when this happens, you're able to solidify information and activate different areas of the brain. So that's why puzzles are great for keeping your mind primed. Another activity that I do is poker. This is also a puzzle, more psychological and mathematical, whereas chess is more logical and forethought. So I invest in these activities primarily because of the faculties that they're stimulating. Primarily, that's the reason. Now for you, whatever you choose, whatever puzzle it is, just make sure that it stimulates in multiple regions of the brain. Okay, camera kind of shut out on me. So we were saying puzzles. Make sure that you're doing puzzles that activate those regions of the brain. That's going to keep you primed mentally. That's going to keep your faculties sharp. Here is our fourth modality. Now, we all have heard about stretching, right? And for doing this for the past 5 years consistently, what I've learned through this process is that it's the longevity of this activity that reaps the rewards. Now here's what I mean. When I first got into it, like, I wanted to stretch a lot, but I didn't. The same thing with reading, I didn't incorporate this into my lifestyle. I didn't create it as a structure. It's like finding time to do things, guys, will be a lot harder unless you stack. Every time I go use the bathroom, I use the stacking method, meaning I stack activities on it, so it's like a habit. So when I go use the bathroom, I do 1-inch punches. So I do 5. So I'll do 5 of those each, and then I do 5 roundhouse kicks each. Pretty much I have a whole activity. So instead of me trying to find time throughout the day to do martial arts, I incorporate it into my structure. I use the bathroom multiple times throughout the day, and to do that micro practice, which is 2 to 3 minutes, I probably get about 30 minutes worth of training just from stacking. So this concept relates to stretching. Make sure you're stacking. So before I go to sleep, I always meditate and stretch, even if it's usually just about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes stretching, 5 minutes. And when I first started, I was trying to do a lot. And it didn't stick. So try stacking and incorporating stretching into your routine. Now stretching is great because it cleans the blood system. It opens it so that it can clean itself. You get any excess things that build up within the blood, that's great. Keeping the limbs open and flexible, that's great. There's a host of benefits to this, and incorporating this is paramount. Not paramount, but it's great for any practice that you're in. It's for staying nimble. So stretching, make sure that you're incorporating that if you want to stay nimble. Now, here's our 5th modality for the body. We're on the body, by the way. We had stretching. Here's the next one. Composting. If you eat vegetables of any sort, stop throwing it in the trash. This is your goal. About 2 years ago, I started throwing scraps into a container. I drilled holes in it, didn't know what I was doing. I got fed up. I was tired of knowing the fact that I was eating, these herbicide, insecticide, pesticide riddled foods that was destroying it and wreaking havoc on the body. Not now, long term, accumulating these diseases, and puts me in the medical. It's so much that goes into it, and I won't go into it now. But being aware that I couldn't just continue to do this, so drill some holes in a little container, probably about a foot, gray container, and I just put some clay, because clay is pretty abundant. You look at most properties, most land, it's been stripped of the topsoil, which is needed. That's the organic material that allows things to grow. That clay, I just threw that in there. I threw that with some leaves, started throwing the scraps in there. Long story short, peanuts, avocados, cantaloupes started growing out of the bin, guys. From there, pretty much I've been building, we as a family, we've been building and creating our own compost so that we can continually grow our own foods. These blackberries right behind me, I showed you, the stinging nettle, this reed grass, there's so much abundance around us. Why are we not eating foods that's natural and that's growing abundantly without human intervention? No glyphosate, no pesticide, no insect. Why are we not eating this? Oh yeah, because we've been indoctrinated to be cash cows to go to the store. But again, that's for another video. For right now, make sure that you're not throwing that stuff away. Even if you just outline a square footage in your yard, in your space, in a container, get some clay, a little bit of leaves as the carbon, start throwing your scraps in there, and you'll be amazed what starts growing out of it. That's foundational, because you need food to supplement the body to stay primed. That's foundational, composting. Now, here's the 3rd modality. Our 3rd modality, this is breathing. Now, of course, breathing is fundamental. We need this. But all breathing is not the same. Now, this breathing practice that I'm going to share with you, this is going to help you in your sleep, because we're talking about the body, keeping the body primed. Now, when you go to sleep, try get some tape or a sleep mask for your mouth, so that you're breathing primarily out of your nose. Now, this is going to help with nitric oxide and helping the body to optimize and really prioritize that air that's coming in. When you breathe through your mouth at night, this can disrupt the brain patterns as well as REM sleep and a host of other things. This breathing is foundational because it's allowing you to heal. So if you're not getting good sleep, try taping your mouth. And if it's not working, let's say you're not getting enough air, you feel stuffed, buy some nasal strips so that it opens your nose and you're able to breathe more air. I promise you this is going to help. Try it. That's going to definitely keep your body primed. Now we're on spirit, keeping the spirit primed. Here is for spirit. Now, community. This is paramount. You're not an isolated being, my fellow primer. I'm a reflection of you. Yes, on the outside our forms are different, but what's that on the inside of you? What is that is orchestrating the movement of the trillions of cells that we call Leo, or you, whoever? What's orchestrating that? We call it God, source, universe, so many different names. The point is, we are each other. So when you isolate yourself, one of the it's crazy, guys. You guys get me pumped up, okay? I'm gonna get it out. So, did you know, out of all the factors that determine someone's health, food is only like 30%? You know what 60% is? 60? Your relationships. We're relational creatures, guys. The hormones, everything, the physiology of our makeup is dependent on community. When we don't have this, we start to decay, both neurologically, physically, all that. We need community. So spiritually, we have to ingrain and become a part of a community, something bigger than ourselves. That's why I'm inviting you to stay to Prime Universe, so that you can join others to help you stay primed. But deeper than that, your community, your family, whoever it is, you have to be a part of someone or something greater than yourself. Community is foundational to spirit. Make sure that you're incorporating yourself into something bigger than yourself that you want to be a part of. That's important, guys. Your health depends on it, 60%. That's huge. Here's our last modality, guys, nature. Now, you'll always find me in nature. Always. When I can. Now, of course, there's certain factors. Here's why nature is on our list of helping us stay primed in our habits of being in. When you're in nature, the vibrational frequency, the air, after a couple hours, your physiology changes to your environment. You are your environment. You probably heard the saying, you are the company you keep. This is not just humans. This is everything. Everything, guys. Everything. Being in nature, we were designed to be within it. We are nature. Nature is not plants. It's not some foreign. It's not out there. The city is nature. The earth everything is nature. So let's get that straight, okay? There is no separation. It's only unity, right? So being in nature, this will help you to vibrationally, physically align yourself to become clear. Have you ever seen someone angry in the woods? I haven't seen any angry people in the woods. See, the EMF riddled environment that we live in, it's a lot. And this can cause us to be, it wreaks havoc on our health, guys. Being in nature, it's gonna help you so much. Now, here's a tip to help you, because for some, like going to sit in nature, our minds have been conditioned to be so, like we're always thinking for the future and the past. Being in nature, it forces us to be present. Here's an activity, and this is actually what got me so connected into nature. I started going out and foraging. I started foraging. When I started doing this, dandelion. When I started doing this, guys, I had to be conscious of the things around me. I've learned so much about foraging from, wild, let me adjust this real quick, from the wild blackberries, from stinging nettle, from wild strawberries, to persimmons, to mulberries. Oh, it's so much. So try getting out in nature and finding something that you like to eat. That is going to help you. Then as you'll start to become cognizant of the things around you, especially in nature. And then as you incorporate this in your life, you'll start to see the abundance around you. So try getting into nature and try foraging, looking for blackberries, for mulberries. Now is the time. If you're in, right now it's May 20th, I believe. So around this time frame on in the summer, blackberries are just coming into fruition. They're everywhere. They're in thickets. They're usually in thickets with other plants. It's abundant. They're abundant. Blackberries is one of the most abundant fruits that I know of. So get out in nature and try that, guys. Now, that's for all of our modalities, guys. If you got to the end of this video, you rock. For you to get, you're serious. You're definitely serious about being primed, and I appreciate every second that you've allowed me to pour into you and to help you. And as we move forward, it's paramount that we continue to prime ourselves for any state so that we can continue to expand consciously. Go ahead, if you're ready to stay primed, go ahead, let's sign up, get on our newsletter so that we can continue to grow. See, I had to switch things up because I wanted to give all of this to you, to show you that this is for you, even if you don't sign up. Before, I was trying to get people to sign up, then giving them, I said, screw that. I'm going to give them the greatest value that I can in the shortest amount of time to show them, listen, I'm serious about this. I'm living this. I am this. So are you, which is why I had to show you. I had to really bring this to you. So, if you don't sign up, listen, my fellow primer, because you are my fellow being, I appreciate you for just watching. And wherever you go on your journey, stay primed. Stay conscious. I know you got this. If you're ready to join the State of Prime universe, if you're ready to join us, go ahead and sign up below. Let's get primed. And let's do this. I'll talk to you soon.